All right, let's bring you the latest now on this story. The IEC Results Centre in Pretoria having to be evacuated earlier this evening following problems with power supply. It's believed a city power generator had caught fire. So earlier, an Eskom spokesperson had basically told the SABC that the power outage had nothing to do with load shedding. Election 360 Degrees presenter Aldrin Sampear, who was due to host his show from the Results Centre later on this evening, joins me now live. Aldrin, a very good evening to you. What is the latest there? I understand you're on your way to Auckland Park now because you can't present your show from the Results Centre in Tshwane. What is the latest? What happened?
Well, yes, so everyone has been evacuated out of the Results Centre. There's a portion of the Results Centre that's totally in darkness. So as you indicated earlier on, this is related to the generator that blew a bit earlier on. But as Eskom has said, that there's absolutely no load shedding. And you remember that this is part of a very critical point around the delivering of the local government elections. Remember that the IEC has also said that they've put up plans in place to make sure that the elections go on without a hinge, considering that there is this possibility of this load shedding. But this is where we're at the moment. And one can only imagine if this was to happen on Monday, the 1st of November.
Well, Aldrin, you understand at this point that there's an Eskom, I don't know how to call it, but that has exploded or caught fire. Is there a substation? Is there no backup whatsoever?
Well, there are a few generators that are currently working because not the entire centre is off. So there are portions of the Tshwane Event Centre that does have lights, so meaning that the CPUs would have kicked in. But that's the situation currently, and hopefully we'll be able to hear from Eskom a bit later on around what caused this fire.
I understand IEC staff were also amongst those told to evacuate the building?
Certainly, yes. Everyone at some point were told to totally evacuate the building, but there are some people that have been allowed in certain parts of the event centre. But then the other part of the event centre is totally off limits. And also one of the other issues is whether it is a security risk or not, considering, of course, that this is an election that we are speaking about, and there are all these facilities that have been installed by the IEC to collate all of those votes.
Is there enough security there? I'd been there on Thursday, and it was quite a tough task to get in there. I must say, there were security that were ensuring that you had accreditation in order to get onto the premises there. But is there enough security? I mean, the SABC has put up basically all its equipment there, radio stations, television. You have other networks as well who are also setting up equipment there. The IEC has also set up its legal centre there. There's massive equipment that has been put up there, with one side of it being completely off. Is there any indication when power will be restored?
Totally no idea at this point. That's the reason why we're on our way now to Auckland Park so that we can broadcast elections 360 degrees, because of this uncertainty in relation to when the electricity will be restored. At some point, we were told that we can use the facility to broadcast the show from, but then the organizers decided to change their minds.
Well, there you have it. Aldrin, of course, just also tell us what's coming up on the show this evening. Of course, you're on your way now here to Auckland Park. We're waiting for you here so you can get your show underway. What can we expect tonight?
Well, we're in conversation this evening with Susan Boysens, focusing on the road leading up to November the 1st elections. And of course, there's a lot of things that we have to speak about. And this is how, for instance, political parties and candidates, including independent candidates, had to quickly put together a campaign for the November 1st election, considering the judgment that was handed down by the Constitutional Court that the elections must go ahead. And of course, COPTA deciding that the elections will go ahead on the 1st of November. But with that as well, and now considering all of these other issues that the IEC is facing, we're also looking into the brand IEC. We will be joined by Dr. Zwakala, who has been with us since the start of the show, to look into the brand IEC and whether that brand has been tainted at all, considering, for instance, the complaints that have been lodged by the Democratic Alliance as well as Action SA, where they say that it would seem that the ANC is in cahoots with the IEC. And also remember that interpretation or misinterpretation of the IEC of the Constitutional Court judgment, which of course led to political parties who didn't register their candidates in time being allowed to re-register their candidates since the election timetable was revised.
Aldrin Sampear, the host of Election 360 Degrees, thank you very much. On his way back here to Auckland Park in Johannesburg, of course, following that breaking news that IEC staff as well as journalists, including Aldrin Sampear and SABC staff that were at the ROC, which is the nerve centre of the IEC ahead of these elections. Of course, the Results Centre having to be evacuated as a result of a shortage of power supply. Aldrin Sampear telling us that one section of the centre is a bit operational. The other is completely dark. We understand that a substation from City Power has basically caught fire. There's a video that one of my colleagues is circulating on social media. I'll try to retweet it in the next few moments. Perhaps you'll be able to see what's going on, but no indications at this stage when the power will be restored to that area that has been affected, resulting in, of course, a disruption to some of the operations taking place there. The host of our show that's coming on later on this evening, Aldrin Sampear, rushing from the Results Centre in Tshwane to here in Auckland Park to make sure that his show does get underway this evening due to those disruptions taking place at the ROC Centre.